Welcome to this very special broadcast, this powerful training that's for leaders only. Let me just say this before we begin. If you want to learn law, we suggest you go to law school. If you want to learn medicine, we suggest you go to medical school. But if you want to learn leadership as it pertains to the industry of networking, you come to the right place at the right time. This particular training, this particular broadcast is specifically for big builders, for those that want to earn a significant income in a short period of time. Now, the reason I call it intense, because we're going to be going at a pace that I think is a pace for people to digest it. We have a lot of information to go over in a short period of time. Now, the reason we're doing this particular training tonight is to lay a foundation that once everybody at different levels, some people are just getting started in the industry, some people are seasoned, some people are already experts, but it doesn't matter where you are in the development of your growth in the industry. Doesn't matter where you are in your development and your growth in the industry, it's important that we lay a foundation, a particular place that everybody starts at that point. Now, the reason that we're going to be doing this, folks, is because the things we're talking about are Harvest principles, and a principle never changes. It'll be the same 10 years from now, 100 years from now. A principle doesn't change. Doesn't matter what company, doesn't matter what day of the week, doesn't matter what year. A principle is evergreen. It's always true. Then we're going to be talking about recruiting rules. These are rules that are important. Then we'll talk about building laws. Now, the reason we're talking about rules and laws, it's not etched in stone, but this is just to give you a guideline, a structure of where you ought to be as you're building an empire. And let me just say this. If you want to build $1 million per year income, I'm talking about $1 million of income within 12 months time. I think it's important to have some sort of structure for you and others to follow, to stay within. That helps to create the duplication and the explosion that's necessary. Let me give you an example of what I mean when I say that. And I'm going to liken this to driving a car. Now, you know, when you're driving a car, that you've got certain laws that you must follow. You have to stop at a red and go on a green and put your blinker on when you turn. I mean, these are laws. If you don't follow them, you'll get a ticket or even worse. However, there's certain rules that apply when you're driving. They're not really laws, but it makes a lot of sense if you follow the rules, like don't drive too close to the car in front of you. That's not a law, but it's a very good rule to follow, because if they slam on brakes, you could obviously have an accident. Or even though you put on your blinker, don't just look at the mirror, always check over your shoulder and your blind spot. That's not a law, but it's a very important rule to follow. So as we begin to cover some of these things, I'm going to say this. I want you to grab a pen and paper and jot down the necessary notes that you're taking tonight. And I genuinely believe we're going to cover some things that you may already know, but we're going to cover some things that you may not know. The important thing is to have all of this digested in one particular place, because as we begin to move toward our pre-launch of putting in 2,000 new members within a 10-day to 2-week period, that kind of explosion, those kind of numbers, you've got to have a structure that you're following. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we go, folks. We're getting ready to get down for our crown. We're getting ready to lay it down. We're going to go over some very important things. I'm going to go kind of fast at the beginning, and then I'll slow up sometime in the middle here to give you an opportunity to really digest the principles, the laws, and the rules, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is our Project 2000. This is our pre-launch that we're going into. Folks, that's a hefty number in a short period of time. But the goal is to put in 2,000 new members, folks, during this pre-launch period. Now, of those 2,000, since I've got leaders here, that's you, you're a leader. If you're on this particular training, if you're viewing this particular training, you are considered a leader, a builder. Now, of that 2,000, how many would you like to be on your team during that 2-week period? Now, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what you personally can do, but think about the people that are coming in. What are their goals in 2 weeks? The people that you've already got in, what are their goals in 2 weeks? Add up their goals and their goals and their goals plus your goals, and write down a number in 2 weeks' time that you would like your team to grow to during that pre-launch period. So you might say, hey, I'd like to put in 100 people during 2 weeks. Fantastic. But those 100 people you brought in, what are their goals? Maybe they want to put in 4 each or 3 each or 5 each. Well, multiply that times your 100 and pick a goal that you want to accomplish during that 2-week period. See, most people don't fail to hit a goal because they didn't try. They failed to hit a goal because they didn't create one. So I want to make sure that you carve out a number that during from the 15th of July to August 1st, how many people do you want your team to grow by? And it's going to take all-out focus. I mean, truly focusing, concentrating effort in a short period of time. You really got to step up and step out to bust that goal wide open. But that's what we're doing here, folks. We have a period of time where now is the time for leadership to shine. We're looking for contenders and not pretenders. Now is the time to show us what you're all about, right? That's why I said step up and step out. We're going to explode your group before the official launch. That way, once you launch, you're not launching all by yourself. You're launching with a group of people that are excited, that are also builders. And now you got a team of folks with the same common goal charging forward. This is essential as we kick off our official launch. Next thing I want to talk about is we're going to master what I call the 3 Ps and the 3 Rs. Write that down. We're going to master the 3 Ps and the 3 Rs. What are the 3 Ps? The 3 Ps are preparation, practice, and performance. Those are the 3 Ps. The 3 Rs are simple. They're recruiting, they're replication, and it's retention. Take a picture of this screen, write those things down. We're going to break it all down like a chicken wing and go through them one by one, but I want you to know what the 3 Ps are, what the 3 Rs are. So if everyone in a conversation, I say, are you focusing on your 3 Rs? Are you focused on your 3 Ps? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and break this down. What are the 3 Ps? So I want to cover this, and I want you to listen very carefully. Now, what I'm getting ready to tell you, I'm going to admit I did not understand when I was first taught this by someone that was absolutebomb.com. When I first heard this, I thought, really? But when I experienced it, when we hit millions in income, then I understood exactly what that person meant. And I hope you understand exactly what I'm saying to you. To build a rock solid foundation. I'm talking about a team, an infrastructure that's rock solid, that produces a very hefty residual income, where you're exploding leadership, you're developing leaders, they're not developing followers, you're developing leaders. To do that, you got to build your business in 3 ways. Not one way, but in 3 ways. The first way you have to build, you got to build it in your mind. Now you might think, why am I building a business in my mind? Well, let me tell you. If you can't see it up here, you can't do it. You've got to be able to visualize and see it in your mind. This is 75% of what it takes to build a big organization. You've got to see what your leaders look like. You got to know that you're going to bring in a very sharp leader that speaks Spanish. You got to know you're going to be bringing some folks in different countries. You don't have to know what the countries are, who the leaders are, but you got to see it in your mind. You got to visualize, already have it, picture of it. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you picture, what you can visualize, what you see. So you got to build it first in your mind. Then you've got to build it on paper. Now, what do I mean build it on paper? The notes you're taking right now. Those notes that you're taking right now, these are notes you're going to eventually be teaching. See, when you write it down on paper, you're writing it down in your mind, you're writing it down in your spirit. So you got to build it in your mind. That 75% of how you build a rock solid organization is what you can visualize, what you can see. And when we go to our mental fast portion of development during the launch and afterwards, you're going to really understand how we hone in and teach that, right? But you got to build it in your mind, you got to build it on paper, and ultimately you got to go build it out in the field. But if you've seen it in your mind, you're writing it on paper, when you go out in the field, it's not a surprise to you because you've already been there. It's just you're walking through it. So this is very important for you to understand. That was the preparation. Now let's talk about practice. Now you got to learn to practice and perfect the formula I call the PS3. Now, let me just tell you this, and I want you to hear me. There's some time in sports that there have been people where everybody knew what the person was going to do, but they couldn't stop it. It was so good. It was perfected so much. I think about a player that weighed 150 pounds soaking wet, but he could take the best players in defense in the world, and they knew the crossover was coming, and they couldn't stop it. I'm talking about Allen Iverson. I mean, he crossed up Michael Jordan. He crossed up so many people, broken ankles. How's he doing it? He perfected that crossover. How about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? They know he's going to do the sky hook. That's what he's known for. Can you stop it? No, because he perfected it. What is the PS3 formula? It's piquing someone's interest, showing them something, sharing something, and three-way calling. If you can PS3, pique interest, share something, show something, send that video, send that recording, send them. If you can pique interest, if you can show them something, and then put them on the phone with a professional, a leader for a three-way call. If you perfect this, even if they know what's happening, even if they know you piqued the interest and saw the video, now they want to introduce it, they can't stop it, and it works. It works, it works, it works. So the practice method is practice this piquing interest, share something, and three-way call. Once you get good at this, pretty soon you're the leader doing nothing but three-way calls all day and exploding your team. Every time you do a three-way call, you're teaching the person that got you on the three-way how they're going to be doing three-ways. And this duplication just, it won't quit. We talked about the preparation. We talked about the practice. Let's talk about the performance. That's with you stepping up and stepping out and giving your all-out effort in a short period of time. You're going to put what you've learned into action. This is no time to be afraid. If you're afraid, get on your knees and ask for help, for guidance. But this is for people who are not fearful. What we're going to do, the only real cure for fear is action. When you start moving and grooving, folks, you ain't got time to be afraid. If you're sitting around going, well, I don't know. You know how you solve that? Start moving, start making mistakes, get busy. So if you can step up and step out for you and your family, if you can take what you're learning right now and what I'm about to cover and put it into action, you're not afraid to get paid. You're ready to get down for your crown. You can look at your check and put some respect on your check. If that's you, when you look at that check and you put some paint where it ain't, if those things are all about you, then folks, you won't have any fear, right? Now you're gonna, if you've got some fear in there, then as I mentioned, do what all folks do before a great journey. A great journey starts on your knees. Get on your knees and build your faith, build your belief, build your confidence. But you have to step up for you. We're looking for contenders, not pretenders. What are the 3 R's? They're recruiting, their replication, and their retention. So let's break those down. The recruiting means increasing the recruiting platforms. That's going to happen during our pre-launch period. There'll be new webinars, new conference calls. I'm going to start doing more and more launches, private launches for leaders that qualify. I'm going to be teaching other leaders to have the ability to do their own launching. And folks, when we start training, what we're going to train on Saturday, this will become crystal clear to you. And the more group presentations that you do, whether they're home parties, I said it, home presentations, whether they're that where you're meeting at a cafeteria or restaurant with 5 or 6 people while they eat, you're talking, whatever the group presentation is, we'll have more and more of those. The purpose of a group presentation, it's not to sign people up. It's not to bring on affiliates. It's not to bring on customers. That's going to happen automatically. When you got something good, you don't have to, well, I'm going over there to do a presentation and my goal is to sign people up. That's not your goal. I'm going over to do a presentation and I'm going to get 10 customers. That's not your goal. That's going to happen because we got something so good. Your goal is to bam fam, to book a meeting from a meeting. You go over to someone's house, to that restaurant, to that that conference room or wherever you're doing the group presentation. You're going over there, and once you present, you're going to leave there with 5 other presentations set up. So those people will have group presentations set up, and I'll teach you more about that on Saturday. So I might go over and do a group presentation. Did one in Detroit recently, went and did an event and left there with 25 other presentations from that one presentation. What was my goal? To sign people up? No, that happened anyway. To bring on customers? No, that happened anyway. My goal is doing that presentation was to leave with 25 other presentations. And every one I do, I'm BAM fam, and I'm booking a meeting from a meeting. I'm booking a meeting from a meeting. This is important to fill up your calendar. We're going to get to the calendar training on the next training session we have. And we got to utilize the 3-step get started welcome orientation that will always be the very last slide in the PowerPoint that we create. The very last slide in the PowerPoint that we create when you do the presentation. I said when you do the presentation, because we got leaders here. The very last slide is their 3-step welcome orientation. That way everybody gets started on the same foot. Now let's talk about replication. You can't get to the top by yourself. It's just impossible. You have to duplicate your efforts. It's only one of you, and you can't carry 10 guys on your back. But let me tell you something, folks. If you get everybody following in step, you can produce way more. So when you hear me talk about putting in 2,000 people in 2 weeks, you think, how is that going to happen? If everybody is following what I'm teaching today, the foundation we're laying down today, everybody, all of your leaders that want it like you want it, what happens is everybody's stepping to the same beat of the same drum. This produces massive duplication, folks. Now, you have to understand that we have a systematic way of doing things. And if you will just make sure that you are following what we're laying down right now, that you become the example of how to do this, you're going to see some amazing things. Now, the 3 R's, the retention is simple. So you got to stay plugged into the coaching, the training, the increased effort, the business overviews, the live events. The truth of the matter is when it comes to retention, people don't leave when they're growing. If somebody is growing, even if they haven't struck gold yet, they haven't become a big builder yet, but they're growing, they're developing, they're learning. If you keep them tapped into what we're teaching, they're going to be growing. And as long as people are growing, they won't leave, and their time will come and they will explode. So now let's talk about something that gets kind of deep. Now, some of these things I'm getting ready to cover, you might not think they're important. And that's okay. But I'm telling you what I know. I'm absolutely telling you what I know. These harvest principles will change your life, not your business. It's going to do that too. But what I'm getting ready to share with you right now, folks, is life-changing information. If you'll apply this to your business and ultimately apply it to your life, you will create some very serious explosive growth, both in your business and in life. The first things I want to talk about is your thoughts and how you think and the effect they're going to have on you, the effect they're going to have on your business. I'll go into more of that in just a moment. That your income will only grow in proportion to how you grow within. I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. How whatever you focus on, whatever you measure, it grows and expands. We're going to talk about how to take that principle and apply it to your life and your business. And that true growth only comes outside of your comfort zone. True growth is not operating where you're comfortable, doing what you've always done to get what you've always got. It's about stepping out a little bit. And so let's cover each of these. Now, stay with me on this first one. I believe it's the most powerful thing that I've ever really grasped, and how it's helped my marriage, how it's helped relationships, how it's helped my life, how it's helped everything, absolutely everything. I want you to stay with me. Your thoughts and how you think, it affects and impacts your emotions and how you feel. And your emotions and how you feel, it impacts the words that you say. And we know that death and life is in the power of the tongue. What you say impacts the actions that you take. And the actions that you take impacts the results that you can see with the naked eye. I'm telling you what I know. Most people want to go change the result, but they don't want to change how they think. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you had a tree, and this tree was the tree of life. And on that tree of life is your fruit. Your bank account, that's fruit. The car you drive, that's fruit. Your marriage, that's fruit. All these things that show up your lifestyle, where you live, that's your fruit. Your retirement, that's your fruit. Your kids' college fund, all these are your fruit. So how do you go change the fruit on the tree of life? Do you go water the fruit? No, you don't water fruit on the tree. Where do you water? Underground. You nourish what you can't see. You nourish what's underground. You nourish those roots. And from that, that gives you a juicier fruit, a bigger fruit, a better tasting fruit, a bigger bank account, a bigger car, a bigger lifestyle, a better marriage, a better relationships, all these things. That's how you nourish. So it's the thoughts that you think, what you visualize, what you see up here, that's going to impact how you feel. It's impossible not to. If you're thinking about your business, how it's going to be, walking across that stage, driving that Bentley, wearing that Rolex, wearing that ring, 80,000 in cash bonus, huh? When you're thinking that, what you're going to wear, what you're going to buy, you're test driving the Bentley, you all that's happening up here affects how you feel when you have that conversation with people you're talking to. You might be saying the same words, but they're hearing something different because the how you feel affects the words that you say. And those words that you say that they impact the actions you take. You wonder why you didn't make that call, why you didn't do that presentation. I just don't feel like I ain't getting on tonight. See, that's because you're not thinking right, you're not feeling right, you're not saying the right things, huh? I'm telling you what I know. This is a powerful principle that if you follow this principle, folks, it'll change your life. The thoughts and how you think impacts the emotions and how you feel. The emotions and how you feel impacts the words that you say. And the words that you say, they impact the actions that you take. Huh? The actions that you take impacts what you see with the naked eye. You want to change that fruit? You got to get underground, get up in here, right? I'm telling you what I know. These things are, the mind, the mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in there grows. If you don't plant nothing in the garden of your mind, you know what grows? Weeds. Weeds of self-doubt. Weeds of a lack of confidence. Weeds of procrastination. But if you're planting good stuff, if you're reading the word, if you're planting good stuff, you're saying affirmations, you're getting up, you're writing down your goals, you're visualizing, huh? You hear me talking? I'm telling you what I absolutely know. If you plant something in the garden of your mind, it will grow. Now let's talk about your income. Your income is only going to grow in proportion to how you grow within. Folks, what I'm talking about is personal development. And people come to me all the time, man, my income is stuck at 5,000 a month. How do I get to 50,000? My income is stuck at $2,000 a month. I want to get to 10 grand. You know what I said? Well, my response is, what books are you reading? What are you listening to first thing in the morning? What are you listening to at night? What personal development are you doing? Whose program are you on? Who's your mentor? I'm talking about your personal development. Your income is only going to grow in proportion to how you grow within. Now, if you think you're the bomb.com, I guess I got news for you. LeBron James got 4 coaches. And I don't care how good you are, you can still get better and be green and growing. I don't care how good you are. You're learning from somebody. Everybody's learning from something. Everybody. So your income's only going to grow to how you grow within. And I can name a few things. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wallace, outstanding. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, outstanding. David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big, outstanding. It's too many to name. But you got to be reading something. Nowadays, all those are on YouTube. You can just listen to it at night while you're sleeping. The subconscious is developing it. But in order to grow to the level that you want to grow and earn millions of dollars in a short period of time, you got to grow your dome. You got to put something in your head. You can't have a $5 head and want to earn a $25,000. You understand what I'm saying? You have to visualize who you become in order to make $50,000 a week. So you can't make $50,000 a week being who you are right now, thinking the same thing. See, no difference between you and Oprah. You're both people, but I bet what she thinks about, I bet what other people that are on that level think about ain't the same thing. It's what you're thinking up here, your personal development. Let's talk about the other hypercritical. Whatever you focus on and grow. Then let me tell you what I mean. If you're focusing on how much income you're making a week, it's going to eventually grow. If you're focusing on how many presentations that you're doing a day, the number will grow. If you're focusing on how many 3-ways you're doing, how many people you're introducing, how many interests you're piquing, whatever you focus on is going to grow. So what do you want to grow? You want the number of people coming to your business to grow? Start tracking how many people joined your team every day. Look at it on the calendar. Well, ain't nobody joined in the last 3 days, huh? Well, I got 3 people joining on an average 1 a day. Okay, whatever you want. My thing is how many thousands am I making per day? And you want to know. I want to get to 1,000 a day in 30 days, and then by 60 and 90, I want to get to certain, whatever you track, whatever you measure, it's going to grow. So what do you want to grow? Track it and measure it. Next harvest principle is true growth only comes from outside your comfort zone. I got news for you. Being comfortable ain't where it's happening. You see, if you're doing the same old things you've always done, you're lucky if you get the same results that you've already got. If you want to reach new heights, you got to do new things. If you're not one that usually does presentations, okay, start doing them. If you're not the one in front of the room because you never saw yourself that way, get up there one time, because that nervous feeling you get, those butterflies, that those things that are, ooh, you know what I'm talking about. You start sweating and all that. Yeah, that's growth. That's growth. That uncomfortable feeling that you have, when you start getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, that creates new neural patterns in the brain. That starts telling your brain that every time you become uncomfortable, you know you're growing, and you become unstoppable. You become a sponsor monster. You become somebody that's absolutely not afraid to get down for their crown, because you know when your palms get sweaty and you get that nervous feeling, huh? You know what I mean? I remember when I was like, I love doing conference calls, but I don't like doing Zooms. That James, they want to see what you look like. Well, guess what? Now I do Zoom like it ain't no thing. But you know what? At one point, I was nervous. Okay, golly, what do I look like? And it don't matter. You become comfortable being uncomfortable, and folks, let me tell you something. You become unstoppable because you're not afraid. You tackle fear. You get on out there. Yeah, I don't care if you got to go throw up and then go do it. But you feel the fear and you do it anyway. These are the harvest principles, folks, that if you really adhere to them, I promise you, change your business, it'll change your life. Now let's talk about the recruiting rules. These, again, are rules. They're not laws. They're rules that you may already know. But don't say we didn't tell you, because once you understand those principles I just covered, and now we're talking about the rules, and then we start talking about the laws, this gives you a framework, a structure that you can get your people understanding and learning. Everybody's exercising those principles. Everybody's using these rules. Everybody's using the laws. And we're going to apply that to the counter, and I'm going to show you how to explode your income. I'm going to show you how to live a balanced life and be a top producer in this whole company. You gotta have at least a foundation to follow. The first one is an important one. It's called the 1/3 rule. I'm gonna spend a little time on this one, but I want you to write that down. The 1/3 rule. Very important. Very important. The next one is called "It's easier to build your business fast than slow and painful." The next recruiting rule is you always want to build your business from event to event. Let's break these down like a chicken wing. First, I want to tell you that the 1/3 rule. And you got to stay with me on this. This is something I know absolutely positively to be true. The 1/3 rule states that when you build a big business, a huge empire with 50, 60, 80, 100,000 people, multiple countries, all in your business, paying you serious income. What most people earn in a year, you make in a month, or you make in a week. If you want something like that, you have to understand that no matter what, in hindsight, when you look back, 1/3 of the people that joined your business, you know what they did? They quit. It's not your fault they quit. Some people are just quitters. If you think about any business you can think about, if you look back at, are the people that were there when that business opened, you look at a restaurant, a muffler shop, a grocery store, are those same people that were there when the business opened, are they still there? Probably not. Some are. But just understand that sometime people are going to quit your business. You didn't do nothing wrong. Nope. That's the 1/3 rule. But 1/3 of them are going to incubate. 1/3 quit, 1/3 incubate. Incubate means they show up to all the presentations, they get on all the calls, they come to all the events, but they haven't struck it gold yet. They haven't recruited a big team yet, but they will. Their time just hadn't come yet, like a baby in an incubator. They're waiting for their time. So if some people are there, don't try to push them and get them to, I was always taught, run with the runners, walk with the walkers. And if they're standing still, go work with somebody else. a third's going to quit, a third's going to incubate, but a third are going to be the biggest builders in the whole company. A third are going to be the top people in your entire company are going to be in your team. So don't get weird when a third quit. We call that discipline your disappointments. Don't get weird if they're incubating. They're there. They was excited when they joined in. They told you what they want to do and why they want to do it and what they want to do for their wife, what they want to do for their kids, what they want to do for their husband and all that. And they got in and they ain't seen to do nothing yet. That's okay. They're incubating, waiting for their time. It'll come. But you run with the runners that want to run and build it big. Because I'm here to tell you, that's all you need to make $1 million a month. Is the third that's going to build it big. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is something called a 2020 vision. So if you wonder, James, how do I build $1 million business in 12 months? I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now how to do it. It's called a 2020 vision. It'll set you free. The 2020 vision will set you free. If you will sponsor 20 people on your left and 20 people on your right, personally sponsored by you, preferably at the biggest pack, not necessarily a requirement, personally sponsored by you, 20 on your left, 20 on your right. What about my power leg? And let me tell you something. You want to build a foundation? You want to build a business that you can't stop it from growing. If you just stop working, it kept on going without you. Personally sponsored 20 people on your left and 20 people on your right. See, that way the 1/3 rule can apply. A third of them can quit. It's okay. A third of them can incubate. It's okay. Because a third of them that build it big, they're on both sides of your business and it'll explode. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I looked at the comp plan 3-4 times. Ain't nothing to figure out. Personally sponsor 20 on your left and 20 on your right. The 2020 rule will set you free. Will it take you a week to do it? No, it's going to take longer than that. You start off with 4 or 5 on your left, 4 or 5 on your right. It's already in the comp plan that you got to have right and left. It's already there. It's already there. Don't try to overthink it. What do? You put 20 on your left, 20 on your right. Start with 5. I'll call it starting 5, right? The plan calls for 4 and 4. Go for 5. Then try to go to 10. And then try to go to 20. Folks, you'll have a foundation so strong that 1/3 rule won't mind. You'll have enough to max out the comp plan because it's all about how many personally sponsored, you see what I mean, nationals. You got to go wide enough to fit that. How are you going to have 12 personally sponsored national with 2 of them gold when you haven't even gotten, you ain't sponsored with 8 people? It's not going to happen. Rule number 2. It's easier to build your business fast than it is to build it slow and painful. Why do I say that? Well, if you want to build an empire and you build it fast, within 3 years, it's built. After that, you're maintaining, you're coaching, developing, you're traveling, you're speaking. And I'm going to be teaching the 7 levels of network marketing. Doesn't matter what company you're in, but if you understand the 7 levels, you understand what we're doing. We haven't gotten there yet, but I'll teach that. But if you know that you can get to be a gigantic builder with a huge team in less than 3 years, and we do everything in short, compressed time frames. This is important to know. We do our official launch. That's going to be a 90-day blitz. We do a 40-day mental fast. We do a pre-launch of a couple of weeks. All these are short, intense bursts of energy. Because you can do a whole lot in a short, intense burst of energy, a time period. Then you can set back, recoup, restructure, and get ready again and explode again. So you're going to find that the things that we do are in these short, compressed times of explosive energy, right? Recruiting rule number 3. You always want to build your business from event to event. Now, you might already know this, but let me tell you something. This training is an event. A conference call is an event. A broadcast webinar is an event. Do you have more people on each broadcast than you did on the one before? That's key. You want to, if you follow these rules, then the next time that there's a presentation, if you only had 3 people on, your goal is you better have 6. And the next webinar, those 6 get on with some other people. Now you got 12. If it's a live event happening, you had 17 there at the live event. At the next live event, you want to have 38. And yes, at the next live event, you want to have 68. You got to have more guests at every event building. If you're not doing that, you're just hanging around. You're part of a club. But you are talking to big leaders here that know what they want. It's clear that you want to max out this comp plan and earn a 7-figure income. And I don't care about your skill set, where you grew up, what your education is, what your physical appearance is, whether you can speak well, whether you stutter. None of that matters. What matters is what's in here and what you visualize up here. I'm telling you, I've seen people that can't even speak real good English. I've seen folks that stutter real bad. I know people that are blind and build big empires. I know people that are handicapped that get down for their crown. So it's not all about what you ain't got. It's about utilizing what you do have. And if you can get more people to the next event than you had the last event, you're following rule number 3. Now, when people come to events, they make life-changing decisions because you don't know what they've been praying about. You don't know what they've been thinking about. You know, I've been thinking about doing something for my husband. I've been thinking about my wife quitting her job and just staying home and me being the kind of man that can provide for that. I've been thinking about sending my kids to this school and they need to have this kind of education. I've been thinking about taking care of my mom and she ain't got to go in no nursing home or no home assisted living. We just gonna get a bigger house. And I've been thinking about whatever your goals are. When people get to live events, they make decisions. So get people to the live events. We talked about the Harvest principles. We talked about the recruiting rules. Now we're going to talk about the building laws. Now listen carefully. To be a big time builder, you must, notice that's capitalized, you must show your business presentation 4 to 6 times a week, preferably in a group setting. I'm going to say it again. If you want to be a big time builder. Now, if you don't want to be, then we ain't talking about you. But if you want to be somebody making $20,000 a week, did you hear me? $50,000 a month. You want that to be you? What people earn in a year, you're earning a week or a month. And you're going to have to show this business presentation 4 to 6 times a week. What is it? How much time does it take to show a business presentation? An hour or less. 30, 45 minutes. So you're going to look at your calendar. We ain't got there yet. But if you can point out, and I've taught this, and I know some people that can only work their business on the weekend, but on Saturday, they got 3 of them they're showing. And then on Sunday, they got 2 they're showing. They got 5 a week on just Saturday and Sunday. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to be a big time builder, don't act like you don't know what you got to do. But you got to be showing this business 4 to 6 times a week. So if you come to me and say, well, hey, how come I ain't at 30, I see where you at, how do I get there? I'm showing it every day, 4 to 6 times. And we go about to go into pre-launch. All you got to do is point and read the screen on the presentation, bob your head and point and go, you see this? Yeah, that's it. You'll learn the rest later. 4 to 6 a week. Zoom presentations, home parties at restaurants. Anyway, I'm telling you, you got building law number 1. How many times a week? 4 to 6. Building law number 2. A recruit is not a recruit until they're dual team qualified, 1 right and 1 left. Here's what I mean. A rookie. Oh man, I just signed up Billy John. Ooh, Billy John is a great leader, and man, I'm in the money now. No, you're not. Don't even pretend like Billy John is not, even though they enrolled, they signed up, and they got the top pack. That's not even a recruit until that person has 1 on their left and 1 on the right. Then get happy, because then they got a check coming. That's when their belief is solidified. So many times people join and don't do nothing. Sometimes they do when they get down. But what I'm telling you, a recruit is not a recruit until they're dual team qualified, until they got to. Hopefully it's 2 premium packs. See? And then your job is once those 2 come in, you start helping those 2 do what? Get to. See? And our goal is to help people bring in 2 win in 2 months? No. 2 weeks? No. 2 days. Because they're most satisfied when they first come in. First thing we got to do is get you opened up to earn money when you're not working. That means 1 left, 1 right. Can you introduce me to 4 people? Can we PS3, peak their interest, show them something, three-way call? How many of those can you do? Can you do a launch call? Can you do, we got to get them there. Your goal is to do it in 24 hours. If you screw up, maybe 48 hours, it may be another day, but I'm telling you, get them while they're hot. Building law number 2, a recruit is not a recruit until they're dual team qualified. Now, you got to help them get there fast, because when they get a check, their belief level goes through the roof. This thing really works. Building law number 3. Took me a while to understand this, but man, is it true. The independent big-time leader that you're looking for in your group, they're 3 to 4 levels deep. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to personally sponsor a gigantic leader that's a top builder in a company? Probably not. But if you bring in somebody and you go help them get qualified, and you have those folks get qualified on that 3rd or 4th level down there, an independent big builder, you don't have to help. You don't have to do nothing. You didn't know them before. I can look at the top producers in every time. Were they exactly who I bought in? Not always, but I work with those people, got them qualified, got them qualified, got them qualified. Bingo. This guy know everybody. Bingo. This person got folks at other, bingo. The independent big-time leader you're looking for is 3 to 4 levels deep. You got to show your business 4 to 6 times a week to find that out. You got to be bam-faming from when you do those presentations. Know that is the goal. And your job is to help your people get qualified, then help those people get qualified. If you do all this, if you're showing it 4 to 6 times, if you're bam-faming, filling up your calendar, helping your people get qualified, helping them get qualified, you're going to run across the independent big-time leader. I talked to one on the phone today. Did I bring her in? No. I brought in somebody. They brought in somebody else. They brought in that big-time leader I met today. She's in my group. I didn't know her before today, but 3 to 4 levels deep is where you find the independent big leader you're looking for. They don't need no help. They already got folks they bring in. But you got to be showing this 4 to 6 times a week to bring them in. You got to be bam-faming and filling up your calendar. You got to be helping your people get qualified. I'm telling you what it is that I know. The superstar you're looking for is 3 to 4 levels deep. Now, if you're bringing folks in, you ain't helping them get dual team qualified, you can't get to the 2nd level. You ain't helping those folks get qualified, you can't get to the 3rd level, the 4th level. That's where the gold is. You're digging for gold with the folks that you bring in by helping people, being a servant leader. This is how you build a heck of a foundation. Folks, what I'm telling you right now is what I absolutely positively know for sure. I'm not guessing. I'm not hope they understand. I'm telling you what I've learned from people that are doing it. And I saw them do it. I paid money so they would teach me, and I'm teaching you for free how to explode. We're about to put in 2,000 people in a 2-week period. How many you want for yourself? 10, 50, 150, 350? If you follow these harvest principles, you follow these recruiting rules, you follow these business building laws, you will have a foundation we can take and apply to what I'm going to be teaching on the next training. So what I want to do now is I want to just bring in some folks. This is a training. This is not a business presentation. We're not talking to new people here. We're talking to seasoned leaders that have indicated that they want big money, and how do I build big in the networking industry? That's who this is for. That's who we have here. So I want to bring on some folks. The first gentleman I'll bring on is Mr. Bruce. Bruce Wells is a fantastic leader, ladies and gentlemen. He's a very casual attitude and a contagious personality. He's real laid back, yet he's aggressive. He's like a velvet hammer. Smooth, boy, he on top of it. I want Mr. Wells to just unmute yourself, if you would, Bruce, and just kind of share the kind of income you've made in a short period of time within the first, I don't know, month that you came into this business. Just kind of share how it's worked out for you. We got big leaders on now. Just kind of share your heart, Mr. Wells.
Hey, Dr. James, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I want to say one thing. I've sat at tables with the likes of Jim Rohn, Les Brown, and countless others. And the presentation and the training that you just gave is right up there with the best that I've ever had the pleasure of being part of. And I thank you for that. As far as my, well, the other thing I wanted to say is we talked about rules. This is not a law, but my new rule is if this session is recorded, anyone that comes into my group is going to have to look at this first. That's a rule. But getting back to the question that you asked about my income in the last little more than 30 days I've been in the company is it's amazing. I was part of one of the largest health and nutrition companies in the world, international company. It took me a year to get my check up to $5,000. And I'm over $6,000 right now in compensation with new extracts. And it's been just a little more than 35 days. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm glad that this opportunity was presented to me by you. And nothing else to say about that.
Bruce, I congratulate you, man. You mentioned that you'd made over 5,000 in your first month, but I remember when it was your first couple of weeks, you were already over 3,500. I mean,
yeah.
Man, you've been getting down for your crown since day one, brother. And for the first 2 weeks, I don't even think we had a PowerPoint.
And and what made it so simple is I just focused on the product. I saw a product. I liked what I saw. I liked what I learned about it, and I wanted to share it with my family, with loved ones, with friends. They had to hear about this, and the rest took a life of its own as far as the compensation and the marketing plan.
Now, I want everybody out here to know that Bruce is telling the truth, but he also was PS3ing. He was piquing people's interest. He was showing them something. He was calling me on the phone, piquing interest, showing and calling, peak, show, call. He was doing the PS3. And he's so seasoned that when he brings in a new member, he does what's called a lifeline call. What's a lifeline call? That's when you call somebody in your support team and you introduce them to a new member and they understand they're part of the new family because you people want to know who besides you is going to help me. So Bruce is seasoned. You know what he's doing. And Bruce, I absolutely commend you on the job you've done in a short period of time. I'm scared of you, man. If you did that in the first 2 weeks, the first 30 days, boy, it's about to be on and popping. So Bruce, think about it. You don't have to tell me now. Think about a number you'd like to hit during our Project 2000 over the next 2 weeks from the 15th to the end of the month that we're going to be doing in our pre-launch. Thank you so much, Bruce, for sharing. I want to go now to Mr. Jay Johnson. Jay, you have called me up excited, pop locking and break dancing because of your income. And I want you just to take a moment, if you would, brother man, and just kind of share your experience because you've accomplished a lot, man, with a few challenges. Take it away, bro.
Oh man, I'm a loss for words. You know, this is an opportunity right here of a lifetime. Bruce. He's my friend. And he's the one who brought me into the business. But what you said is true because Bruce hit me one time, and I'm like, Bruce, man, I'm doing something else right now. Right, I'm good. He hit me again. I said, Bruce, I'm good. Then he hit me with you. Then he got you on the phone, and then after me and you got on the phone and talked, you was like, we had a real good conversation. You was like, brother, I'm telling you, if you trust me and you take this seriously, you're going to make some real serious income in your first 30 days. And your spirit hit me, and I really felt it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith and jump out there with this brother. And I did. And everything you said came true. 11 days. Well, actually less than 11 days, I hit national. I looked at my back office. I was like, dang, is that like $3,000, right? And then like 30 days hit. Now I'm at like over 5,000. And now it's about to be 35 days. I'm about to hit the $6,000 mark. So I'm like, this is crazy because I've been doing this for a while, network marketing, and never this fast, right? With not so many people that you make this type of income. And I want people to catch that right there. You don't need a gigantic amount of people to make this kind of money. See, in a lot of different opportunities, you need a lot of people to bust down $6,000 in less than 30 days. But here, you don't need a lot of people. You just need to do what Dr. James says do. And I'm calling them up, and just calling them up, and he's talking to people, and man, and we just sharing the plan, and it works. So man, I'm excited. I think this is the best thing I've ever done. And like Bruce says, it's the product, because there's no other product out there like this product. We are exclusive. Nobody can take it what we got. It cannot be duplicated. And when you got something like that, you got a home run. So now it's just up to you, to me, and everybody else to go ahead and share what we got. I got new extracts all over here, Dr. James. I'm like, this is how much I love it, because this stuff right here works. So guys, take this serious, take this opportunity serious, and you'll make a lot of money, and you'll change a lot of people's health and lives. We're really trying to change the healthcare system with this product, and I truly believe in it. So back to you, brother.
I know when I talked to you, Jay, you were a little discouraged about some of the mishaps in the past, the skint knees and the stub toes, and some of the curveballs that the industry throws. And I said, man, just believe in me. If you just believe in me, we lock arms, I'll get you there, man. I promise you. All you got to do is believe. And you said, man, I'm with you. And it has happened. And let me tell you something. It's not me, it's God. And I just prayed for leaders that I could be a blessing to. I prayed for somebody looking for an opportunity. I prayed for somebody like Bruce, somebody like you. I prayed for somebody like Felton. And I prayed and prayed. And I saw it up here, like all those things you heard me talking about. I didn't see Jay's face. I didn't see Bruce's face, but I knew I was going to run to some seasoned people. I knew I was going to run to somebody just want a chance to win. And then I knew it'd be people I didn't even know well. And I know they have been overcoming a few things. And I'm telling you, I want to bring on Mr. Felton Smith. And Felton, take a moment, if you will. We heard Jay Johnson's fantastic testimony, Bruce Wells' fantastic testimony. Felton, I'm going to go to you and ask you to unmute your mic and just kind of share your personal income testimony with these big leaders that we have that are in the company already.
Greetings, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Awesome. You know, I, I have it's difficult to speak after listening to you gentlemen. Um, Silence is all that's needed because I have heard uh, just a brilliant presentation. Um, it's it's fantastic. You know, I had no idea that. You know how I felt listening to you? I felt like I was on a Max jet, jumbo jet, sitting back and just flying and just relaxing because you really went through a blueprint that is absolutely proven. I'm proud to have I'm proud to be in your class.
Now, you told me earlier when we talked, you said, man, I'm sorry, but I'm not real good at technology. I don't know how to work the mic. I don't know how to work the Zoom. I don't know. And I said, man, just get on here, and what you've earned not knowing none of that. I think that's a
Right.
powerful testimony within itself. Tell them tell them what I'm talking about.
Well, I've hit national also. I think that within the first 15 days it was like 3,200, and now it's roughly it's not 5,000, but it's over 4,000. And you know, we've only been doing this for about a month, well, a little over a month now, and I guess I caught a vision some time ago that now when I go to sleep, and there's a team of us working together. So the money is is very fast, very nice, but the fact of knowing that I can better my life and my family's life and those people around me that are bold enough to attempt to learn something new. And what I mean by that is many times people won't even listen to you and they won't hear you. And it might hurt, but there are other people that are ready for you. So, like you said, the, the 1/3 will
That's
stay
right.
with you.
That's
But we're
right.
just starting, and I'm not going to take any more time. But it's been beautiful, and we're just getting started. Thank you for your
Felton
time.
Smith, we are proud of you, and you exemplify that you ain't got to be Bill Gates. You ain't got to be Mr. Tech. You just got to have a want to. And so I just want you to hear what's happening with Bruce Wells, hear what's happening to Jay Johnson, hear what's happening to Felton Smith. And the next gentleman I want to bring on is a seasoned leader. As a matter of fact, the first time I met him, he passed me up in a previous business we were in, and he shared his insight with me, and I used what he shared, caught up to him. So I want to bring on Dr. Steve Branch. Dr. Branch, you've been involved a short period of time. As a matter of fact, I don't even think you really started until after a couple of weeks after you enrolled. You had some other family things going on, but just kind of share your personal income testimony, if you would.
Absolutely. And I want to commend exactly what Jay and Bruce also mentioned, man, Mr. Felton, incredible presentation. And I mean, that's what I come to expect. You and I, we've been connected in business opportunities for the last 20 years, since 2004, when we became $1 million 12-month earners in the travel industry. So, and once again, we had a tremendous outing last weekend in Detroit, launch in Detroit, and I was just thoroughly impressed seeing 40 to 50 pastors, bishops, clergy in that room, and everybody closed. Everybody signed up. So I know major things are about to happen. But one of the things, and I'll be brief. One of the things that I looked at with this platform, first of all, extremely busy. You have multiple things going on. So when you first approached me about this, I normally look at any type of opportunity. I'm looking for three things because I'm extremely busy. I want to know, what is it, how much it costs, and how do I get paid? That's going to determine how much time and attention you're going to get. So when you first got engaged, you caught my attention when you said being able to reverse your age reversal of 10 to 30 years. That caught my ear. Because, I'm in my 60s. So I'm like, wait a minute, you can get to the 90s, maybe the 100s. Okay, you got my attention. So even at that time, I still stayed on this sideline and just kind of monitored. And then I think in your first week or so, you called me up, showed me your back offer, over $4,000 received. Okay, pretty good, brother. Still on the sideline. Next week you call, you was over 12,000. Okay, you got my attention. It's time to roll. So I've actually been engaged really since about the 28th of June. And I'm blessed to say over 12,000 received. I personally referred 14. The team is approaching about 200. This is my I'm in the middle of my third week here. And I'm hoping to complete my first month with 20, maybe even 25,000 in revenue. And one of the things that truly caught my attention with this platform is the product itself and how it's benefiting and helping the baby boomer community, which I'm one of myself, and especially the minority community, where we are devastated when it comes to diabetes, high blood pressure, and so many illnesses, and being able to assist individuals in being healthy. The second thing that caught my attention and made it so valuable is the fact that the now money that the company has on the table, which truly is extremely impressive. Now, the company has a program promotion they put on the table July 1st, where you can get $67 to $6,800 in your first 4 to 6 weeks by simply referring 8 affiliates, 8 business people, and 2 customers. Now, I've been self-employed for over 40 years and network marketing over 35. Blessed to make my first million back in liquid back in 1989, traditional business entertainment industry, and made my first million liquid in network marketing in 2007, 12 months. But I've never seen a company of any type, health and wellness, travel, nutrition, any of them, where of only 8 personal enrollments and 2 members paying $49 to $89, the 8 personal enrollments paying less than $600 and being able to receive in your pocket close to $7,000 in income your first 4 to 6 weeks. You can achieve it as quickly as you want. Even more importantly, being able to get your out-of-pocket expense right back and being able to pick up, $2,500 in your first 2 weeks. See, that now money is extremely important because that's what get a person's attention. See, because a lot of people out here are still hurting. Everybody haven't recuperated from the pandemic. But this is a vehicle with such a powerful compensation plan and a one-of-a-kind product that can only be found with this company. And I'm glad to say that I'm planting my flag here. And I definitely see 6 and 7 figures in income. Now, the last thing I want to say before I close out, what really nailed the coffin for me, when you showed the new bonuses on the table at the back end. When you get to 100,000 in volume, you're getting a $10,000 one-time bonus, and you're getting the ring. Well, I need another one. When you get to 400,000 in volume in your weak leg, you get the Rolex. I need another one, and a $20,000 bonus. And when you get to $1 million in volume in your weak leg, that's including your spillover under your teeth, the whole nine. They're gonna pay for a Bentley for you and give you a $50,000 bonus. So my personal goal is the ring, the Rolex, and the Bentley before Christmas. So that's my goal, brother. So with the leadership that we have on board and the training and the product that we have, and we know so many individuals, we know so many clergy, pastors, preachers, individuals that have strong centers of influence. It's not a doubt in my mind. We're just going through the motions and through the numbers. We know you're talking about 2,000 over the next couple of weeks. We know we're going to put 5, 10, 15, 25,000 or more in over the next 90 days to 4 months, because nothing else that's out there can compete with this product. No one else has it. So incredible platform. And with that being said, I hope I didn't take too much time, but I want to turn it back over to you, superstar. God bless you.
Did you notice that Dr. Branch talked about what he wants and when he wants it? You think he's thought about that? You think he's envisioned his wife walking out on Christmas morning as a big bow on the Bentley, 50 grand in his hand? That's my man, 50 grand right there. I'm telling you, folks, I want to thank you, Mr. Bruce Wells. I want to thank you, Mr. Jay Johnson. I want to thank you, Mr. Felton Smith, and Dr. Branch. I think you guys really put the cherry on this presentation, on this this training. And I want to just wrap up this training by saying, the next training we'll hear, you have to take these principles, rules, and laws, and we're going to apply them to the calendar and show you how to explode before we kick off this pre-launch that's coming up. You've got to get this digested. Now, this is going to be placed on the training center on the website. So this training is a wrap.